But Perry, first of all, let's say we're up and running. Apart from all the controversy, and we have to separate what we do for a living, which is look at football, and me banging on about the politics. We're up and running. The stadium looked beautiful. The players didn't seem overwhelmed by the heat. And Ecuador kind of breezed through that game, didn't they?
Well, Dan, obviously, I still think it seems quite weird. I'm trying to get my head around of it, World Cup at this time of the season and where it is. So I had even more of a surreal experience because I had to watch the game in a pub called the Tollington because I had a tour today at the Emirates Stadium, right?
You think I don't know where the Tollington is?
Right, okay, yeah. Well, you're not allowed. You're banned, not just you, but
absolutely.
Your ilk are banned anyway, Dan.
But I could walk to it from my house until 4 years ago, trust me.
So I go in there to watch it. One, I've never been in a pub before and not had an alcoholic drink. So I've had like a blackcurrant and soda. That was quite surreal. And then just watching it, and obviously you can't get the whole atmosphere you want. We had the commentary, you could get the sort of the atmosphere. And it just seemed to me like that it was watching like an exhibition game. It was like, like watching a testimonial game. The Ecuadorian fans, obviously they brought colour to it, and a little bit of sort of intensity. But it just, even that just seemed very, very strange for the first game at a World Cup. Normally it's the vibrancy, don't you? You get excitement, you get intensity. And we all know that it shouldn't be in Qatar,
sure,
right?
Let's take that as red.
It's red, right. I actually think the game actually proved even more that it shouldn't, because the host team, I know they haven't been playing competitive games, they've about 5 months, they've been in training camps, whatever. They shouldn't be playing in it. World Cup should be the elite of football, right? And they were so far off the Ecuadorians, Dan. The Ecuadorian team eased off in the second half because they knew that they couldn't be hurt. They knew after Valencia's 2 goals. And it just, again, that just seemed very strange watching it. It's just a strange experience.
Yeah, I'd go along with that when the TV cameras were forced to focus on the Qatari ultras, if you like. And to a man, and they were all men, they were all wearing exactly the same uniform of brand new T-shirts. It looked a bit false and a bit staged. And I'm not the first to say this either. And it made me think about the stadia, what they're going to do with them afterwards, because the population is tiny, as you know. Although there are 3 million people in the country, most of those are workers from other parts of the world. There are very few Qatari citizens. And if you make a sort of guesstimate about how many of those are big-time football fans, and there will be real football fans there, of course, you could probably say it's about 30,000. They're going to be left with about half a dozen stadia that hold that many. You could have all their tournaments in one stadia. Anyway, we'll get onto this as the night continues. But Tim Vickery said to us, Perry, that you don't finish fourth in South America these days without being a decent team, because the qualifying, with the exception of Venezuela, whose team had problems, the qualifying was absolutely cutthroat in South America. Let's take, as you say though, it's going. There's football to be played, and tomorrow sees England against Iran, which we'll focus on in the next 45 minutes. Then Senegal against the Netherlands. We were talking to the great Marcel van der Kraan about that'll be a very tight game, I suspect. And then in the evening, the USA against Wales. We'll be talking to a top journalist from the United States and to the Wales's 8th highest goal scorer of all time, Rob Earnshaw, will join us later in the show to express his excitement. Perry, the opening game was a disappointing game because of the levels involved. How much are you looking forward to tomorrow's games, and particularly to the England match?
I'll start getting excited. Obviously, tomorrow, you mentioned there, we got the Wales match as well, like a 7 p.m. kickoff. I'm just interested, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, Dan, in the team that Gareth Southgate's going to select, because we haven't seen each other's teams yet, so it's going to be...
No, I've got it here on a scrap of paper.
Yeah, it's quite a revelation, our both teams. I just want him to go on the front foot. I want him to be aggressive, because you know that Iran are going to sit back. They're going to be very, very deep. Please, I don't know what team you've gone with, Dan, but please, I'm sort of sending out like a message to Gareth Southgate and his coach staff. Please don't play 3 centre-halves. Please, please go a flat back 4.
Well, as somebody who watches Tottenham's efforts every week these days, Perry, you can imagine how my heart yearns for front foot, aggressive, dynamic football. And I can tell you that my England team does not contain 3 centre-halves. There's an argument that it doesn't contain 2. But we'll get on to that. And of course, I want to hear from you. Actually, it's 10 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday. If you're listening to our voices, what do you want to see from England tomorrow? We'll start with England. What do you want to see from England tomorrow? Glad you take your calls. As Perry and I are going to discuss who we might pick or who we would pick in a few minutes' time. But who would you pick? Is there a place in the team that you want to say, right, that's the player I want to see? Because really, with the exceptions of the goalkeeper, the centre forward, and I'm guessing Declan Rice, there's questions about every position in this team. So let's hear what you want to do. Let me ask you again. 03717 223344. 03717 223344. What are you looking for from England tomorrow?